So yeah, it's like one of those days, right, when you're just feeling a bit low, you're feeling a bit down, you don't really want to do much, you just want to sort of snooze, stay, don't want to get out of the bed. But then again, this is also one of those things that you have to do, right? You got to do what you got to do. And then obviously the Twitter is on fire today because of the Middle East region and what all is happening over there at this point of time. So that is another thing which is keeping everybody quite charged up. A lot of people saying a lot of things. Again, don't want to get into the political side of things because our job is just to talk about Canadian immigration, because that's what I know, that's what I do best, and therefore let's just stick to that, right? The story of the week is that IRCC has found another reason to refuse applications. Now, obviously, as we all know, IRCC will always keep looking at different reasons. And I keep saying this is their version 3.0. And when I mean by version 3.0, the first version was where IRCC didn't just really care. It was a start. It was what they did with a pinch of salt, and almost everything was okay. Then came version 2.0, where they got a bit strict, but then there was also that feeling of that you can get away with things, you will be able to do things, and IRCC will buy it. And this is the new version where almost nothing seems to pass through, and that is how it actually should be, because hey, at the end of the day, you are applying for permanent residence, and if you are going to be trying to defraud, trying to create those fake periods of work experiences, provide fake documentation, provide fake language results, then ideally you should get caught and not be allowed to come into the country. Anyways, so with this version 3.0 of IRCC, they are obviously, and sometimes I feel they have like a quota, like some sort of a quota system, right? That each officer has a quota as to how many applications they must refuse in a day, or they must put through a PFL, or they must put through some sort of additional document requests. Lately, what's happening is that I'm not even seeing PFLs, I'm not even seeing ADRs, and I'm seeing outright refusal. And one of them, which I would like to show you, and I want to start with this one. Hey, before you start telling me about fear mongering, so save your trolling. I don't want that at this point of time, because if you think this is fear mongering, then you gotta wake up and smell the coffee. This is about making you aware of what's going on. So before you start on that charade, at least understand the point is not about creating fear. The point is about creating awareness, so that if you are on your way to be submitting your application, you are a little bit more sensible, you're a little bit more smart, and you're doing the right thing. Right, so there goes. So this is one of several refusals I have seen this week, or within the last 10 days, and I've got few of those. What IRCC is now saying is that, if you see the paragraph where I have redacted in center, it says, concerns rose with the remaining Canadian work experience you claimed from, I will not tell you the NOC code or whatever. And for each of these roles, the job duty letters provided closely reproduced the wording, structure, and sequence of the official duties. The descriptions matched the NOC text rather than outlining the day-to-day tasks performed in the workplace. This was one. And then I think I have another one. Yeah, this is another one. Again, if you see, it says from the top, the job duties provided for both positions were reviewed. However, the descriptions appear to be closely adapted from the NOC database and do not provide sufficient employer-specific detail to establish that the work performed aligns with the duties of the qualifying skilled occupation. Let me translate for people who are confused as to what is this all about. Well, what we are trying to say is that IRCC is refusing applications outright, no PFL, no ADR, and they're saying, hey, you know what, in your employment letter, what you have done is you have paraphrased the duties. Now, of course, we have been saying this for donkey years. Please do not copy paste from the NOC. That is an absolute no-no. Don't copy paste exactly word to word. But don't paraphrase either. Now, that's the new mantra. That's the new that's the new word that is coming from IRCC offices, that if you even paraphrase means these are the 5 duties on the NOC. You are taking exactly the same sequence. All you are doing is just changing 2 or 3 words in the duties and then slapping it on your employment letter. This usually happens when people send it to their employers and say, hey, boss, can you just print this on your letterhead and give it back to me? And the boss says, yeah, okay, just take it, because the bosses are whoever the employer is trying to be helpful. So they just, whatever you have drafted for them, they will just take it and they will send it back to you. And that is where the problem is coming, because IRCC is now closing down on this as well. They're saying, how is it that the employer is just changing a few words on the knock duties and giving it to you? How is it that there is no specification to what exactly you might be doing? How is it that the wording is so close to what IRCC website says? And that's where the problem is coming, and they're refusing application. Now, of course, in these situations, judicial review is a possibility for a fact. And you can probably make a good case of challenging this in the federal court. The thing is, not everybody wants to go to the court. Not everybody has the means or the money or the time that can be spent in going to the court. So as far as you're concerned, you should be aware that such things are also now being clamped down upon. And therefore, if you are preparing your application, it is best for you not to paraphrase, just take few words, change it, twist it, follow the same sequence. If that's what you're trying to do, please don't do it. Have your employer give you a job description that is unique to that company, to that job, to that role that is matching with your occupation. Otherwise, you might get one of these love letters from IRCC, and that love will very soon bleed out and you won't like it anymore. So, word of advice, if you're preparing your documentation, please pay special attention. Not only should it match the knock code, it should not be copy-pasted. It should not be paraphrased either. It should not be closely adapted to the knock. Rather, it should be your duties, your unique circumstances, your unique occupation, and then you must then find a corresponding knock code to that. That's how you get it done. That's the first one that I wanted to talk to you about. Now, for people who have been trying to defraud IRCC, how? Well, whenever IRCC will come up with regulations or whenever there will be new programs, there will always be people who will want to take a shortcut route because they can either pay or they know someone. And it's been happening from donkeys of ages. It's not unique to Canada or for that matter to any other place. It's just the law of, is it law of nature? No, that's how things flow. Let's say it that way. So when French language proficiency category was announced, and a lot of people saw that as an easy route to get to your PR status, because all you needed was to get language level 7. Now, I'm saying it with a lot of ease that all you needed, of course, in the real life, getting to level 7, NCLC level 7 is quite a difficult task if it's not your language. So what people started doing? Getting a fake language results. Now you'll say, how can you get fake language results? Well, believe me when I'm saying it, that there are institutions in Canada who actually manage to help applicants generate fake language results. The going rate in the market started at about 30, from whatever I heard from somebody, was about 30,000 Canadian dollars or something, and then it was climbing up. The good thing is that this is also being identified, this is also being clamped down, and it's a lot of trouble there already. So what's actually happening, and let me see if I can find it. I can't share it because obviously there is some confidential information on it. So I'm just trying to see if there is some portion of it which I might be able to share with you guys. It's going to be a tricky one, right? No, can't share it. No, can't share it. All right. So French language people who have been using fraudulent scores, well, they are getting procedural fairness letters. Marking centers, test centers have been identified, which have been identified as having generated fake results, and people who have been able to get their language results, fake language results from fake language test results from these institutions are being flagged. They are getting PFL. There are 2 cases where people have actually got their COPR, and after that they have got their PFL. asking for clarification. And obviously, you can't get a clarification. There is actually one case which has come to me where somebody actually bought French language test results online by paying $1,000. Somebody send them a DM on a WhatsApp or something saying, hey, if you're looking for French language results, I am selling, it is genuine, it is legit, only $1,000. That person actually believed and actually paid $1,000, got those results, submitted their application, and now they have a PFL to have to prove where they exactly went for the exam, what was the date, to provide more information and to confirm with the language test center whether that is genuine or legit. So this is another one which is happening. So if you're one of those people, then you should be very, very aware, and you should be packing bags. That's all I can say. That's another one. Another one I would like to share with you. Let me see if I can redact. I can't. Yeah, but I can show you this portion. It's not going to be a clear screen. I hope you will be able to make out what's showing up in your screen. This one is an application where officer has again raised a concern about spouse non-accompanying. So this is a very funny one. What happened is somebody applied with their spouse non-accompanying. Fair. A lot of people have tried that. A lot of people have been trying that. A lot of people are getting flagged out. But what happened was, when this person got their P1, they were lucky. Even if their spouse was not accompanying, they got their P1. Okay. So when they got their P1, that is, how people go totally loony and take advice on Reddit, Facebooks, WhatsApp groups, friends, people who they think know better or have the advice. So somebody told them, hey, now you have got a P1. When you're replying to P1, give your name and your details, and also give your spouse's details, because they will add your spouse to your application now that it has been approved. And bang, what happened is, the minute that person responded to P1, giving their information and their spouse's information, though their spouse was not accompanying in their application, IRCC replied back and said, hey, you know what? I have cancelled your COPR, and I have noticed that your spouse, who you have submitted as non-accompanying in your application, is actually accompanying you in Canada. And therefore, now you better explain. Otherwise, I am going to refuse your application. So these are the things that are happening in the world of Canadian immigration. This is what has been, coming up within the last week or so. Every single time I see these instances, it hurts to see that a lot of people actually were able to get through, but then again, because of wrong advice, they fall flat at the very last millimeter of their journey. Like this one, right? He got a P1 and then made this drastic error. What can I say? At the end of the day, you'll do what you will do, what you will think is the right thing to do. But the problem here is, as far as spouse accompanying, non-accompanying is concerned, that's become a very contentious subject. And I understand that there are stakeholders in IRCC who have been meeting and discussing about the fair, unfair advantage between spouse accompanying, not accompanying. What they're saying is that if you are a single, right, and you get through your PR, you have certain points, you will become permanent resident. And then if you sponsor your spouse, there is no impact on points. There is nothing that is stopping you from sponsoring your points. So why is it that people who are in express entry, if you are married, then you are being penalized because your spouse may not have the same level of degree, Canadian experience, or language skills score that would get you the points which are same as a single person? So why is married person being penalized because of that, versus you being a single, or you being non-accompanying and then getting your PR and then sponsoring your spouse without any difference in points? So I agree. This is, I think, quite unfair to anybody who's married, who has a spouse. Why should you be penalized versus a single person why should there be a difference in points because of that? Yes, I understand that the spouse can add to the human capital factors, but at the end of the day, if that is the case, then you should change the way you allow sponsorship, and then you bring in human capital factors there as well. So if you cannot bring any issues over there, why create it over there? So again, a lot of these debates continuously ongoing, and they happen, they make a big difference, they impact a lot of lives, and I hope they get resolved soon. Oh no, not this one. Let's get to the weekly roundup. Not much happened this week. PNP draws. Prince Edward Islands conducted their draw on the 19th of February. They targeted under the business work permits and the labor and express entry draws. They invited 109 people, and graduates of UPEI, Holland College, and College Lel were especially prioritized in this invitation. So Prince Edward Island continues with their published draws. Manitoba conducted an expression of interest draw number 265. They invited 72 candidates, and they were largely through the employer services, francophone community, regional communities, ethno-cultural communities. I don't even know what is TPP. I forgot. And 11 invitations were issued to people who had a valid express entry profile. But as you can see, there was no skilled workers in Manitoba or skilled worker overseas draws happening. Manitoba is holding back on their draws as well. Alberta on the 24th invited 68 candidates with a score of 73 under the tourism and hospitality stream. And they also invited 831 candidates on the 20th of February under the Alberta Opportunity Stream priority sectors with a score of 56. PNP updates, Newfoundland and Labrador is increasing their minimum wages to $16.35 per hour starting 1st of April, which is pretty good. Other news, IRCC has released its official AI strategy. Now, this is something which people should be aware of, understand that IRCC, actually IRCC has been using AI since 2019, or maybe even earlier than that. At least 2019 is when we first had a bit of an idea of what's going on there. After that, slowly we got to know about Chinook and Watchtower and Lighthouse and all these different AI names that they give, to their different AI tools. What they are saying, their official AI strategy is that they are using AI to triage the applications, as in to segregate the applications into different categories as to which ones will definitely get approved, which ones may not get approved, which ones will definitely get refused, goes into 3 different bins, if you want to call it, and then gets assigned to different officers. The AI helps them identify documentation which is probably template based. So for example, if you're using one of these agents in some cities who are submitting applications in templates, right? They do this visit visas and study permit applications, especially in India, right? In Punjab, there are so many people who will have you do applications in hundreds, inviting everybody and submitting everybody's application for visit visas. What they're trying to do is they're playing the volume game. If they will apply 100 applications, they know for a fact 15, 20, 30 will get approved, and they will advertise throughout the whole town that they've got 30 approvals, but they will never tell you that they got 70 who were refused. So this strategy is able to identify template versions. It's able to identify the MAC IDs and the IP IDs of specific agents from where these applications are being submitted. They're able to identify similarities in the cases, in the similarities in the stories that are being told, whether it is for refugee cases, whether it is for SOPs, whether it is being told for any other applications, is for example spousal sponsorship PR application, right? Same stories, very similar names, Simrans and Rahuls in the same stories. So that is what it is helping. It is also helping reduce the backlogs, and it is identifying straightforward low-risk cases for easy and faster approvals. At the end, IRCC is saying that the decision is still being made by the officers, but the AI strategy is helping in triaging and faster processing. That's it. That's all I have for you in terms of the weekly roundup. Connect with us. We are all over the place, social media platforms, everywhere. Of course, if you wish to hire me or my company as your immigration representative, then I am a CICC licensed immigration consultant. please, by all means, drop us an email, hello@askkubeir.com, if you wish to hire our services or if you wish to ask us about what we offer in terms of representations. Of course, follow us on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Hit a like button so we get this video out to more and more. So many of you watching right now. And of course, if you wish to book a consultation, then please, by all am I getting this? Yes. askkubeir.com/consultation. Instagram, for Instagram, it's here. askkubeir.com/consultation. Of course, it's not always possible to answer all the questions here on the live stream. I try my best. I will, as much as I can. But if I can't, then please, couple of things. One is post your questions after this live stream in the comment section, and I'll come back and respond to as many as I can today and tomorrow. Otherwise, book a consultation, and then we can discuss whatever your questions, concerns, and queries are. Before I jump on, let's see what this one says. Everything passed, only criminality is in progress. Any clue? I mean, no clue. AOR is in September. CEC trade, well, that's good. You got through the trade category. September basically means you are just within the mark of 6 months average processing. So I hope it gets cleared soon. But if everything is passed, only criminality is in progress. Not sure where the criminality situation might be. Could be a police clearance, could be something pending on your police clearance, could be anything. Order GCMS note so you can have a better understanding of what's going on there. Spousal PR is in process, and we applied for TRV under dual intent. It got approved. Excellent. Congratulations. What happens if PR gets approved during this time? Can you travel with visit visa or have to send passport again? Well, if your PR gets approved and you've already arrived in Canada, you're living in Canada as a visitor, your PR gets approved, then what you will do is, instead of sending your passport for stamping, you will raise a web form. You will inform IRCC, hey, you know what? I am now in Canada. Please process virtual landing process for me since I'm already in Canada. What they will then do is send you a P1, then they will send you a P2. You will be able to then respond to all of them, and then you will get your ECO PR by mail, therefore making you a permanent resident while you're in Canada without having to send your passport for stamping, because you're already in Canada, so you don't really need to send it for stamping. That's what you can do. What else have you got? Do you think IRCC will continue regular size draws? My CRS score is 503. I'm hoping to get ITA soon. Please share your thoughts in the future of CEC draw. Well, I for sure would love to see CEC draws continue because, hey, if you can invite Francophone candidates from outside Canada with scores as low as 399s and 379s and 400s, why shouldn't you give priority to people who are already inside Canada? People who have been working, contributing to the economy, adding to the workforce, labor shortages, helping with that. Why wouldn't you? So at the end of the day, as much as I would love to see the scores drop, I'm a bit of a skeptic as far as the low 500s are concerned, because that is where the bulk of people are. Now, we have seen IRCC having a very, very strong intent of wanting to clear out a lot of people from the express entry pool, especially the Canadian experience class. We have been seeing that intent since December last year. December, they invited about 11,000 people under Canadian experience class. Jan, they invited about 14,000, and then we saw another 6,000 in Feb. So only in just these last 3 months, they have invited 31,000 Canadian experience class. And this is where it becomes very tricky. 31,000 people invited, score is still at 508. I mean, why couldn't the whole 500s be cleared out? Which tells you two things. One, that it's no longer very difficult to get a score of 500, because a lot of people obviously are able to get to 500 quite easily, because 30,000 invitations and still you have 10,000 more in the pool with 500 plus, which of course will be more by the time the next draw happens. And yet the score hasn't dropped below 508. That is the first thing. Second is, a lot of people do decline ITAs and they do come back. A lot of people do create duplicate profiles. A lot of people, decline ITAs as if it was a candy wrapper being thrown in a trash can and, just get another one kind of a thing. So it's unfortunate. Because if you know that you shouldn't be getting an ITA, then don't be in the pool. Or if you're being in the pool, then make sure you're making the adjustment so that you don't get an ITA. At least don't spoil it for other people. But I don't think anybody likes to hear that. I don't think anybody cares. People do what they think they want to do it. And I guess even if yourself, right, if you had the opportunity to play safe by creating a duplicate profile, and because it's IRCC's fault, they don't penalize people for creating duplicate profiles. They don't do anything. I mean, if you are creating one profile, two profile, three profile, though they say it on their website that don't do it, but they don't penalize you. They don't sort of restrict you. They don't stop you. They don't sort of, crash the whole system for you the minute you do it. So people do it. And when people do it, nobody stops them, nobody penalizes them, nobody does anything. So people will do what they have to do. And the result of that is a lot of people are getting these invitations which they shouldn't be getting or are declining. Now, what happened in the previous healthcare draw, right? Now, in the last healthcare draw, they had already announced the new version, which is of 2026, which basically said that you must have 12 months of experience when you get your ITA. This is not the same like CEC, that in your 11th month you get your ITA, then you complete your work experience, and then you submit your application. No, category draws have changed. Category draws, the new rule, the new regulation with category draws is that you must complete your eligible period of work by the time you get your ITA. So if you're receiving your ITA today, you should have already completed 12 months. That's what the law states. The ministerial instructions are very clear with that. Can I log in there and show you that? We did talk about this last week. See if I can pick it up. Hold on. Because this is where people are confusing so many things. Share screen. Where's my screen? This is my tab. Okay, let's see this. Tab should be fine. No, you need to remove this. Need to add this. Okay, so this is the round of invitations. I'm sure you've all seen this website plenty of times. This is not a problem. If I scroll down here, you will see full text of ministerial instructions. So this was the last draw. This was healthcare version 3, okay? And this is for 2026 version. If you click on see full text of ministerial instructions, it tells you that this ministerial instructions are for this specific draw number 398 of February 20th. And it then tells you what is the ministerial instructions. It will give you the definition of everything, and then it will tell you what is the category. This is the category. Healthcare and social services category is established for the purpose of ranking for the period set out in section 7. So they are talking about specific section 7. If I scroll down, where is section 7? Section 7 is giving you the period. So this ministerial instruction is specific to this particular category for this specific draw, which was on the 20th of February. What does the category say? The category says the member of category, an eligible foreign national is a member of category established in section 2. This is the section 2 for this particular category. And they are not the member of the class if they meet the following requirements. Okay, sorry. If they are not a member of the class. So within the previous 3 years, they have acquired at least 1 year of full-time work experience. So in order to be a member of this category, you should have already acquired 12 months of work experience on the day you are receiving your ITA. And that's it. So, I mean, of course, you have got the work experience and you performed a substantial number of duties, performing in the lead statement. But this too is what you are most concerned about. It is telling you when the category is being established. It is telling you who is the member of this category. And it is telling you within the previous 3 years, means within the last 3 years, they have acquired at least 1 year of full-time work experience or the equivalent in one of these occupations. So there is no leeway. So, this CEC thing that we have, that if you have received your ITA, you will get it in the 11th month, you get the ITA, you continue working, and then after 30 days, within that 60-day period of your ITA, you can submit your PR application. This does not apply to the categories. For categories, you have to have 12 months of work experience by the time you receive your ITA. If you don't, then you are risking your application to be refused, because they are very clear about this particular section as to who is the member of the category. And the member of the category is specific for this particular draw, for this particular section, for this particular date. So this is how you have to read this to understand this, and therefore you would be eligible. So therefore, going back to this category, in this particular category, they have already identified people who are eligible should have had 1 year of work experience. However, they invited people even with 6 months of experience, 5 months of experience, 8 months of experience, 7 months of experience. They invited 4,000 people, but out of 4,000 people, at least 1/4 were invited incorrectly, which basically meant the score was 467, but because they have wasted 1,000 invitations or even more by inviting people who are not even eligible, they have kept people who would have been eligible with a lower score outside the draw or out of the draw. And that's where it hurts, right? For this mistake, so many people who would have gotten through, would have been successful, would have been able to get through with the draw, were just not able to get through because IRCC made a big boo-boo in this particular one. But if you are the one who is submitting the application, please be aware of these new changes. Understand it that the same things does not apply. CEC, regular express entry, you may get your invitations earlier. That's all right. You can continue with your application because that is a technical error in GC key. You can continue with your application as long as you are able to complete your valid legal period of work within 60 days before you are within the deadline of your ITA, and then submit your PR application after having completed that work. Don't do that with your category. With your category, if you're not eligible, then you're not eligible. Don't take a chance. It's not worth it. Of course, if you wish to, then it's entirely up to you. I can't tell you not to do it. It's your money at the end of the day. But IRCC is very clear with the category. So tomorrow, if you take a chance and if you still get refused, then expect it. Then you should know that you're taking a chance. Right. Will the draws continue? I definitely feel the draws will continue. You know what? Just to give you a small data statistics, this year has been the strongest year for express entry in the first 2 months. In the first 2 months, IRCC has already invited 34,848 people through various draws, including the healthcare 4,000, including CEC's 20,000, including you also had a French big, huge, mega, biggest, largest draw, 8,500 people. So IRCC has been very active in the first 2 months of this year, inviting 34,000 people. In contrast, comparatively, last year, 2025, they invited only 17,422 people, of which only 9,300 were Canadian experience class. So you see, there is a deliberate, there is a willful push intentive push from IRCC to bring in more CECs, which therefore is promising. However, going back to today's target of the video as well, where not the target, but the title of today's video, which was about the IT STEM collapsing. I mean, it's completely, the last IT tech specific draw that happened was in April of 2024. That was the last draw. Ontario did conduct some human capital priorities draw, but after that also fizzled out. And IT Tech has not been invited by by any of the PR streams after April 2024 was the express entry. And after that, I think there were some draws by Ontario and the human capital priorities, and then everything went dead and quiet. IT was ignored for the remainder of 2024. IT was ignored for the whole of 2025. Not only that, even the STEM categories, which are otherwise included in the category draws as a category, but did not get invited. On the contrary, we somehow saw insurance advisors getting included in the STEM category. Does not make sense. Nothing to do with science, technology, engineering, mathematics, but they are included for some reason. But IT tech is out, which I don't know. I mean, is it got to do because IT had a bit of a recessive period in terms of the job market? But then, hey, you know what? Budget indicated that they will be looking to bring in H-1B workers, or rather they would have a pathway for H-1B workers from the US. Now, largely, not all H-1B is tech, of course, but largely H-1B in the US is tech. So if you want to bring the tech workers from the US to Canada, why won't you have a pathway for the tech workers who are already in Canada? These things just blow my mind. I have no idea why they do it like this, why they play this game. Why do they continue to show ignorance towards people who are inside Canada, but they would happily bring people from outside Canada? Like, for example, Francophone, right? No, this is no hate. This is nothing to do with French as a language or Francophones as collective. It is just a comparison. In the sense, like, you are okay to bring people who have nothing to do with Canada, no interest in Canada, no work experience, no education, no relation, nothing. You're willing to bring them at a very low human capital factors, but you do not want to give advantage to people inside Canada. Okay. I mean, if we also have a program called Francophone Community Immigration Pilot. If you really want to bring these people back into Canada, then promote FCIP, Francophone Community Immigration Pilot. People will have a job offer, people will be contributing directly, people will be invited because of the priority occupations, or create categories within the Francophone as well. Nobody will complain. People like me will stop. We'll just be, we'll zip it, because then you are inviting people under specific categories, under specific jobs who can really contribute. Will make more sense, right? Everybody will have shh, because they are then targeting those occupations or those categories to a specific shortage. But no, there is always a political agenda which kills everything. And I do not know when politicians will stop or rather will wake up and realize that how they damage for so many more years to come by creating these silly programs just to appease a certain segment of the vote bank and not looking at the large collective thinking. Sorry for the rant. Yeah, sometimes it happens, but I mean, again, even after having said all of this, it's not like they are going to stop French immigration programs, or because the next comment which will happen will be like, are they going to stop French? No, they are not going to stop French. The level 7 62 points will continue. I mean, they are giving 62 points, right? That should be encouragement enough for people who are Francophones to get those 62 extra points and take the draw with absolute merit on it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. What else can we say? Okay. Questions are collecting. Okay, let's get to the questions before I keep talking so much. If I haven't answered your questions, by all means, mention them in the comment section after this video. I'll be very happy to come back today and tomorrow and respond to your questions. As usual, obviously, the questions don't stop, of course, because I can understand there are so many people with so many small, unique, case-specific issues, and honestly, there can never be a blanket answer for everybody. There can never be a generic answer for everybody. In cases where you really are struggling with something and you really need to get more information, more details, I would always recommend a consultation so that we can understand in detail and give you guidance specific to what will apply in your situation. For others, please, by all means, after this video, please do post your questions in the comment section. As I said, I will come back today and tomorrow and I will respond to as many as I can. But thank you for joining in. It was lovely catching up again. We will do this, of course, as we do every single week. Until then, please stay forever hopeful, and I will see you next time. Take care.